morning and welcome to the Avon Valley Church's Youth, Children and Families page. My name's Jo and I'm the Youth, Children and Families Development Worker for the Avon Valley Churches. And every month we have a special time allocated to young people within our area. And we're so fortunate to have Tilly and Dan join us again for another Friday conversation. I've got a number of questions I want to ask them. But if you'd just like to introduce yourselves first, that might be quite nice for everyone.
Well, this is my boyfriend. We've been dating for 8 months on the 22nd, so Friday.
Oh, wow.
That's about it. There's not really much else to say about him.
And Tilly, well, lots of people in the congregation know Tilly, but just tell us what sort of involvement you have with the church in before lockdown, pre-lockdown, if you like.
I do bell ringing, but at the moment I'm not allowed to ring because I don't know how to ring the bell up and down. Because you're only allowed to at the moment ring on one bell, and I can't ring it up or down, so I'm not allowed to ring. And
right.
was getting involved with the children's activities, but obviously can't do that.
Yeah. And a lot of people still haven't come back to church yet, have they, after the lockdown? There's a lot of fear around, which is really understandable, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I just want you to answer as openly and as honestly as you would like to. Okay, so why do you think that many people between the ages of 10 and 50 do not come to church?
You can go first.
Well, I think it's because a lot of people with how today works have to go to work and grind because everything costs so much money with all the taxes, and you just can't really afford anything without working every day when you're 16, when you first start working. And everyone just has to work so hard, they just don't have time.
Yeah, I found it quite hard to balance when I was working in the pub. On a Sunday, because I would go to church to ring and then stay for the service, then have to get home, eat some food, get changed, and then pretty much run to work so I wouldn't be late. So it was really hard, and sometimes I just go, I'm not going in. I'll ring, but I won't stay for the service because I actually would like to eat food and get some more sleep.
Yeah, and it is a difficult time. I've been saying this for years. Whoever thought of early morning church on a Sunday? It's really, I think for us nowadays, as you say there, Dan, you work, Tilly, you were working before, weren't you, on a Sunday? And it just feels like, whereas it used to be a day when people were at home and didn't have other places to go, now Sunday seems to be a bit of a catch-up day for a lot of people, whether they're catching up on sleep or washing, or whether they're working because they're doing things the rest of the week. So yes, it is. Sunday is not the same, is it, as before? And why do you think that many churches have elderly congregations?
I think the elderly like having the community because that you get with the church, because some elderly people don't see their family as much because either they've moved away or they just don't have enough, their family doesn't have enough time to see them. So it's nice to have a routine so they always are able to see some people at least once a week.
I pretty much would have said the same thing, but I just think that it gives them something to do because a lot of elderly people aren't that active. So it's nice for them to just get out of the house and have something to do, have some people to talk with and just relax, I guess, for a little bit.
And did you, so you said there about having that sense of community. Do you think young people need that sense of, not young, but younger people need that sense of community? And if they don't get it from church, where would they get it from?
Oh, everybody needs that sense of community, and some people do get it from their religion, either going to church or going to a different place of worship. But people who don't have religion, they have that sense of community either in their work or with their friends.
Yeah, if we're talking like still in school sort of age, a lot of them have like a community through playing sports, playing video games, that sort of stuff. Like I made a lot of friends through playing video games, and
Yeah, it's a
well,
huge community, isn't it? The online gaming community. I mean, it's colossal. You know, there's so many people involved in that, millions of people worldwide.
yeah, it's massive, and it keeps growing. And you're always going to be able to find someone new to talk to and new friends. Like you're never going to run out, so it's can't go wrong with
Yeah.
that.
Do you it's really interesting because we talked about Sunday being a difficult day. Um, do you think that online church is one of the ways forward, perhaps?
I think it is a good thing that we've used, because it allows people to still have that sort of sense of community whilst feeling safe at home. Or like if somebody can't come to church because they're in hospital, but they still want to have that feeling of community, they're able to have that sense. And I know that the Church of England were doing YouTube videos, which is actually pretty cool to see.
About that.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because Dan, you said something just before we came on air. You said that you were never forced to go to church, so you've never probably had a pattern of going to church.
No, I don't want to say my family's not that religious, because my dad's quite religious, and my grandma, she was the worst for it. Well, worst. She was the most religious out of everyone. She went to church every Sunday, never missed it. Her and my granddad, they always went. But since she's passed, no, we've not really done much churchy stuff. I mean, we like to sort of have it there, but it's not something that we sort of do every Sunday, because I'm either at work or out racing my dirt bikes. So it's it's one or the other, really, to be honest.
And I do think as well that we have different times in our life when things are sort of prompt us to maybe look at exploring our faith or look at connecting with community and things in different ways. I would certainly say that about when I had my children. I felt, because I didn't really know anyone my own age having children, I think that was a really important reason for why I ended up going to church and going to the toddler group and then meeting people and being involved in that way. Okay, do you think that learning about God should form part of your life as a child?
Well, it's going to be a part of your life with school, with religious education, philosophy and ethics. There's going to be that for at least a couple of years because it's mandatory. But it can be like seen as a bit off in society, because some people force their religion on their children even if they're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not got much to say about it, to be honest. I mean, you're gonna learn about it no matter what, because it's sort of part of history. But it's
True. So
all the time
true.
it's down to the person if they want to believe in it, or if they want to look into it more than what they're taught in school for in the however many years that they'll be taught it.
Yeah, it was a massive part of history, because I had to write an essay on why Henry VIII broke with Rome and why the Church of England was created for an exam. So it's a big part of history.
It's a huge part of history. And one of the things that always fascinates me about the study of God or theology is that it can't separate itself from anything to do with society. So it's part of, it's sort of shaped by philosophy, but it's also in English because it appears in all sorts of books. It's in art, it's in history, it's in all manner of things that we sort of take for granted in our normal lives, and then suddenly we have this just sudden realization that, oh yes, there it is again. and there it is again. And that's why it's quite nice actually to be able to share some of those things that we know about faith, but also which can help people understand other aspects of their life. So, you know, your mum, Tilly, on Monday shared some lovely artwork by a particular painter, Archimboldo, if I remember rightly, and it's just really lovely to see how things are shaped, and or how much God or religion or faith forms part of the things that we do. I mean, even in some of our community structures, like what would I say? Even when you look at the way we organise. The way organizations or businesses are structured is very much down to a biblical understanding in many cases. So yeah, it is fascinating that you can't say, well, this is God and faith and this is the rest of everything else, because they are together most of the time. So do you know anyone who has a faith different from yours? And do you ever talk to them about it?
Not really, because I don't leave the house that much. I don't like leaving the house, so I don't. Do you know?
You do leave the house.
Not really.
I'm not 100% sure if I know anyone of a different religion, because a lot of my friends are that I've met through gaming and stuff like that. So I don't actually see them in person. We just hang out online, play games and stuff. But I don't really, for me personally, it's not really a comfortable thing for me to ask what religion they are. I don't know why, it just doesn't feel okay for me to ask that over the internet.
Yeah.
Maybe if I knew. But...
Yeah. And do you, because this is the other thing, online church has really challenged our thinking when it comes to how we view community. Now, if I said to you, do you view your gaming friends as your friends?
Yes.
Are they people that you trust? Are they people that you talk to?
Well, I trust them
In the game.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust them with real life stuff like my bank details or stuff like that. But I trust them as you'd trust just an average sort of person that you talk to and hang out with every now and then. But when we're in the game, it depends how much we've played games together. If we're like playing different games all the time continuously, then we're gonna bond and trust each other a lot more and eventually be an amazing team of whatever we're doing. To be honest.
Yeah. And I think even just having our regular streams on Facebook has shown us that there are lots of people who connect in with us. In fact, I was watching Thought for the Day this morning, and I noticed that 2 of my friends had actually watched our Thought for the Day who are not connected with our church. It's just the way it goes. I think that community, that understanding of community is just so different. We kind of in person, I think the expectations are so different from online, but yet you guys, you see, you've grown up with this online stuff. For me, I grew up when there was nothing online, like genuinely. I remember typing my CV on a computer and it was like, and that was it. There's no phones, no nothing, seriously. So to have all this influence of, and as I say, you guys, it's just natural to you to use technology and to have friendships and to make it part of your entertainment. I mean, I was very cynical about Netflix before lockdown, and then my kids said, "Oh, let's get Netflix." And I was like, "No, I don't want that. I'm not paying for TV. There's enough on there. I don't need to pay for it." But I love it. I have to say, I love Netflix. I'm a
Yeah.
total convert. Anyway, let's get back to some questions. Sorry, I'm digressing now. So if I was going to ask you what you know about Jesus, how would you answer? Because you've got Tilly who comes to church and Dan who doesn't. So what would be the first thing that would come out of your mouth when I ask you that question?
I'll let you go first.
What was the question again? Sorry.
What do you know about Jesus?
What do I know about Jesus?
Yeah.
He was a guy that was, I guess, supposedly magic. I guess you could say that. He
I
could,
love the word magic.
like,
Yeah.
he's,
You're not wrong.
yeah,
You can also walk on water.
yeah. I'm just not sure about the story personally,
Yeah.
but I'm
What
not
did
gonna.
if I said to you though, I want you to nail it, Dan, one thing that Jesus is in your understanding from what you've learnt at school and everything else, what would you say to me? Just one thing in your understanding, which is not wrong, by the way. What's interesting about all matters of faith is we hear and respond to the bits that are of interest. So if you, like Tilly said there about walking on water, you know, for some people that is a really kind of special or evidence of a special being, if you like. But what would you say?
Well, when I think of Jesus, I sort of think of, like, I guess someone that leads a big pack of people, like a team captain as such.
Oh, I love that. The team captain.
But-
That is
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
wonderful. I love it. Seriously.
But yeah, to me, he's just a guy that managed to make history in a massive way, to be honest.
Yeah,
That's apart from-
and still
I-
probably the most influential figure in history.
Yeah,
If you think of like no internet, no written records or very few, not no, but very few written records from that time and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's quite amazing. I always say that Jesus went viral in the sense that we're still talking about him, but he went viral in a way that we have no concept of, because everything is so much easier it's easier to go viral than from then. So yeah, no, that's really interesting. I love that. The team captain, honestly, that's going to stay with me now. I really love that description. Tilly, what would you say?
I'd say that he was the son of God, but I wouldn't really know how else to describe it, because that, to me, that's who he is, because he technically is.
Yeah, and you would expect that different people would describe him in different ways, but that doesn't make any description wrong. I mean, what you know, Tilly, you have that sense, or you believe that he was the Son of God, and obviously that's the first thing that springs to mind. But Dan, on the other hand, but I love the idea that he is the team captain. I think they're both amazing. Seriously. Okay, I'm going to ask you one final question before I let you go. Adults, and I'm just about to do this research. Adults spend so much time thinking about how to make church more welcoming. And what would your advice be for them?
I would advise, in the nicest way possible, don't shove it down someone's throat, because you see people online who are just like sort of screaming about their religion and saying it's the right thing, and I'm like, well, it's not always the right thing for everybody, and you can't always take it literally. Like, I think one of the things that God said, or the Bible said, was you should rest on Sunday, and I'm like, okay, so you can't do anything on Sunday. If you like, and then people are quoting the Bible as saying, oh, well, that's wrong because the Bible says so, and I'm like, yeah, the Bible also says this. Do you do that? Probably not.
Yeah, do you go to a shop on Sundays? You know, you could challenge
if you do, that's wrong.
Yeah, no, that's true, true. What do you think,
Um,
Dan?
what, to make churches more fun?
Like
Or
if it was in my project that I wanted to get Dan to come with Tilly to church, what would make Dan come?
Oh,
offer free tattoos.
there's a number of things, to be honest.
Right, come on, because I'm going to write all these down.
Right,
At
well,
some point, I'm going to roll this out.
for me personally, there'd have to be something to do with cars or bikes, have it sort of implemented into the whole church thing.
Yeah.
You know, that, yeah, like that sort of, something like that.
Cars or
Just-
bikes? Okay.
Yeah, cars or bikes, or like try and have it associated with games, I guess, like different sort of popular games.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff. Just have it sort of, I can't
Yeah.
find the word.
No,
To make it more-
that sounded fine.
Yeah, have it so more people like me
Can
and
understand it.
younger will be more interested in wanting to sort of do
Yeah.
it.
I find it quite hard to listen to the sermon sometimes. I'm like, what are you on about? Like,
What do you think is the barrier, Tilly? Is it the language, or is it the length, or is it because it doesn't speak to you with your sort of looking through your eyes, in the sense of the things that are your concern as a young person?
I think with me personally, it's the language, because I don't. That's part of the reason why I haven't read the Bible. Like with the latest Bible bedtime story that I did, I think that was the first time I properly read the Bible, because I can't read it.
Yeah.
I can't read it, and I don't understand it because I'm dyslexic. I'm like,
you do
don't think
understand
that
it though. You do
no,
understand.
I will look at it for 5 minutes, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's not a word, but okay. I said that when I was writing the story. I was like, that's not a word. That can't be a word.
That's what Google's for, Tilly.
I
look at it all the
Googled half, I was
time.
like, what does this mean? But part of it is the language, because I don't understand it. And then part of it is also the length, because knowing me, I haven't slept well. I'm very tired. I'm half asleep. If you talk at me for too long, I will fall asleep.
Yeah.
But your brain also can't process things that happen for a long time. I think it's about 15 minutes that your brain can take of information.
Yeah, it's 15 minutes without having a break, I think.
Yeah. And do you know what you said there, though, is really supported by evidence. When I was studying social media and effective communication at my theological college, there's so much evidence that points to the fact that we are in a different time when we're not going to be having sermons in the same way, because people's concentration spans are so different now, and they're actually shaped by technology. So whereas a few, probably a decade ago, we could have sort of a 3-second piece of information, now it's gone down to something like 0.1 or something. It's just, we don't process information, and we're so much more used to change in our era than people who are older than us. I mean, that's just the truth. And I think that it's probably going to be a while before the church can respond to that change. Some people are really trying hard to do that. I mean, you talk about bikers. You made me think of somebody I studied with, a guy called Jason, and he's part of the God biker. It's called the God Squad. It's a biker group that is a Christian biker group. And he's done all sorts of yes, that is a thing. I know that might be surprising, and in fact I looked them up on, I don't know why, probably because I'm watching Sons of Anarchy at the moment on Netflix. That's probably why I looked them up. But I thought, I wonder if I can see the local God Squad, and they're like 100 pages came out. I was like, oh right. So it's obviously quite a big thing that I was not familiar with until today. But I think it's a real time for change, and all of us are really feeling this. The people who are working on the inside of the churches, we really feel that things are going to change dramatically. There's going to be a new normal, with church anyway. So I'm going to hold on to that thought, Dan. And when I've got like a Harley Davidson or something in St Mary's in Fordingbridge, will you come?
He'll take the bike and he will.
Yeah, I'll probably end up taking the bike.
Yeah, he will drive off with the bike.
Oh, well, listen, I look forward to that day because honestly, I am a bit like that. I'll try and make it happen if I can in any shape or form. But it's really lovely to speak to both of you. Thanks, Tilly. Thanks, Dan. And hopefully you'll come back and have another chat with us sometime. I hope. Yeah?
Buy you ice cream.
Sure.
Buy you ice cream. I'll buy you the Ben & Jerry's ice cream that you want. I'll buy you the non-dairy one.
Okay.
Bribery. Yes, we can do that. That's fine. We can do that as well. Ben & Jerry's. Thank you ever so much, guys. Take care. See you soon.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Say bye to everyone.